Hello, my name is Peter Cordier. In this video I will run through how to set up Revit sheet and viewpoint settings and how the automatic sheet overlay works inside Revizto. So we'll be looking at floor plans, elevations, sections, details, publishing sheet coordinates only, and integrations with Revizto, specifically SharePoint, and how we can send sheets which are sitting on a CDE like SharePoint to Revizto's 2D environment. So we're looking at this Autodesk sample Revit project called Snowdon Towers. So let's look at a floor plan first of all. So we've obviously got a sheet here, and then there's a viewpoint on this sheet, and this is a floor plan. So if I just sort of open this this viewpoint, this floor plan, we can see it's a floor plan, and there are some properties that control where this view is located inside of the Revit environment, and that really is to do with the view range. So with the view range in Revit, we have a top, a cut plane in the bottom for the primary range, and then a level for view depth here. So really we're only interested in the top, the cut plane in the bottom. So the cut plane is where the model or the viewpoint cuts through the model at that point, and you associate it to a particular level, and you can offset it either positive or negative if you need to, and then you have a top. So that's basically specifying how far from the cut plane you're seeing the things in the viewpoint. Same with the bottom. You're basically looking at the lowest level for the objects that you can see in this viewpoint. If you want to know more about view ranges specifically, you can click on this learn more about view range, and just have a look at the Autodesk information. There's quite a lot of information here, but as I said, if you want to look at that further, you can do. But we're really just concerned about how this information influences Revizto once you publish this sheet into Revizto. To publish sheets, you use the Revizto 5 plugin, and you can publish whichever sheet you want like this, and you select those sheets. I'm not going to be covering how you export or publish rather from Revit to Revizto today. That will be covered with another tutorial. So let's have a look at this sheet once it's in Revizto. I've already published it into Revizto. So here we have the Snowdon Towers project. Let's open that up. And go to 2D. So this is the Revit file from where these sheets came from. And I was just looking at this floor plan, A101 floor plan. Let's just get rid of the issue pins. So here we've just opened the drawing or the sheet in the 2D space. So now I'm going to overlay it. So you can see clearly what's going on, and the Revit, the sheet that was published into Revizto, and Revizto knows where that sort of lives within the 3D environment, and it's placed on the level where the cut plane is. The view range top and bottom, that really affects how much space this sheet is occupying within the model itself. So if I was to place an issue within this drawing or within this sort of 3D view here, you'll be able to see that on the drawing itself. So I'll show you what I mean by that. We can take the sheet away for a second, but leave the section cut visible. Let's just create a random, it doesn't really matter what I'm placing here. Let's just place this stamp here, this asset tag, so we can see that that's ID 80. Let's go to the issue tracker. I'm just going to filter out that one issue, just to make it clear as to that's what we're going to be looking at when I go back to 2D. So if I go to 2D, I'll turn my pins on, you can see that that issue that I just created in 3D, because it's placed in a model where this sheet, where this sheet occupies the 3D space, you can see where this is, and you know, that's essentially how we have the 2D and 3D sort of connection between drawings and the model. So let's go back to Revit and have a look at elevations. So here we have an elevation within this view floor plan, and if I just select this this elevation in particular, so these elevations are on a drawing or a sheet in Revit with the number A404, and the number 3 it relates to the particular viewpoint that's placed on that sheet. So if I open A404, that drawing, and go to number 3, this is the elevation that's created, you know, from this elevation here. So I want to explain how the or sort of the behaviour of how this is overlaid inside of Revizto. So even though this elevation is actually being sort of clipped, and within Revit you have these options, you can either clip with outer line, clip with a line, or no clip. It doesn't matter which of these options you have, the behaviour is the same once this gets published into Revizto, and I'll show you what I mean here. So again, we have this this drawing A404. If I jump to Revizto, I could just try and find that in the list, but let's just search for it. It's easier to do it like that. If you've got lots of drawings and you know which drawing number you're looking at, or looking for rather. So if we open this up, so here we have this the same elevation view, and this sheet, it's slightly different to the previous one, where there are multiple viewpoints on the sheet, and each of the viewpoints happens to be overlaid in Revizto, and when there is an overlay, you can see that quite easily because of the little green house symbol that you get here. So if I overlay that elevation in Revizto, you can see it gets cut in the right place in the model. However, what it doesn't do is actually clip it at the back. So with elevations, you will always get the whole of the model behind the elevation, but the elevation is cut at the point that it's set out in Revit. Just to show you one more example of the elevations. So here we have another elevation that's actually sitting outside of the building. This one we looked at just now was an interior elevation. So if we have a look at this one, let's just isolate that a second. So this elevation, you have the line here, that's essentially where the section will be cut in Revizto, and where the sheet is going to be placed. Interestingly, this one it doesn't have a clip, but as I say, it doesn't really matter whether it has a clip or whether it doesn't have a clip. The behaviour is the same once it gets into Revizto. So this drawing is A200. Let's find that. In here, and get rid of the pins a second. So this is the elevation that we were just looking at, and if I overlay that, you can see the elevation or the drawing is being placed in the correct place, as the same as it was defined in Revit. And again, you don't have any depth clipping at all, it just goes right the way through. Let's have a look at sections next. So go back to this first floor plan again. So we have a number of sections within, oh, that's the roof plan. That's not the roof plan, that is the first floor. I'm going to have a look at the second floor plan in this case to find those sections. So we have a number of sections. So this section is on sheet A307. That's that one here. If I again just make it really obvious, so this section is being cut through the floor plan there, and it's set to stop at this point. So if I go to the sheet, and that's number 2. So in Revit, the way that the section has been created, it is only showing, you know, the depth of the model as per the section, you know, as it was set up, i.e. it's been sorry, wrong drawing again. It's been clipped to this distance. So that's correct in here. But again, when we open this in Revizto, you won't get any depth clipping. It will just be cut in the correct place, but you'll see the rest of the model behind it. And again, I will show what that looks like. So again, we've got drawing number A307. Let's find A307. And you can see that the drawing looks like the drawing that's been created in Revit, i.e., you know, all the objects match the sheet itself, and it's being cut in the correct place, but the rest of the model behind it is all visible, so it's not actually cutting it in the same way that it is in Revit itself. Lastly, to show you what details look like and how they overlay. So we have a details sheet here. These details would have been created using a detail view or a call out, and again, as long as it's done in the correct way, i.e. a detail view is used, and then you can create your detail view. If you want to embellish that with sort of hatching and annotations, etc., you can do that, but in order for it to be overlaid intelligently and automatically in Revizto, it does need to be cut from the model. You can't just create a viewpoint that's sort of random and add sort of 2D lines to create a detail. That has to be cut from the model in the first place. Hopefully that makes sense. So again, let's have a look at this drawing or sheet in Revizto. So A501. And you can see all of these details have the greenhouse, and if we look at, doesn't really matter which one we look at, let's look at this one. If I select that, the detail will land in the right place in the model, and again it doesn't get cut behind this sheet here, this drawing. Everything is visible behind it. I want to point out one thing on that drawing. So you'll notice that this drawing or viewpoint here has the house symbol, the greenhouse, quite far away. There is a reason for that, and you want to avoid this really if you can. Otherwise, you get this behaviour, and you can't really see. If I fit that to the screen, you don't know that that's actually got an overlay, because the section cut house is quite far away. So if I select this detail, let's just turn on or unhide the crop region. You can see that the crop region here is nice and neatly around the detail here. But if I select this one again, just unhide that. The reason why we had this behaviour is because this is basically outside and too far away from the drawing itself. So you can solve that just by bringing this in like that. So I'd like to talk about publishing sheet coordinates only, and what that actually does, and why it would be useful to do that, why you might want to do that. So if we click on Publish to Revizto, so when you're publishing the sheets, you have this option, Publish Sheet Coordinates Only. So I will actually do that now and publish a number of drawings which I know don't exist yet in the Revizto environment. So the drawing from here, SD101 down to SD106, that's not currently in Revizto. Let me just double check this. So yeah, we don't have those in here. So when you export sheets, normally they come in like this, and you see the sheet, and the viewpoints are on there. However, you've also got this option which I will run through now. So go back to Revit. Let's push or publish these sheet coordinates only for these sheets that don't yet exist in the Revizto project. Let's have a look at what that looks like. So you can see here the icon is slightly different. It's not sort of filled out like it would be if you had an actual sheet in there. So if I open this, you get a warning, sheet is currently empty. And the reason you would do this is if you wanted to have the overlay working, but you only had, say, PDFs that you wanted to import, and you could do that. So let's look at the PDF option first. So let's import a file. So let's import these two, for example. If I open that, what this is actually doing is it's recognizing that the sheet coordinates that I imported match the PDF drawing that I want to bring in. So it's matched them up correctly. Let's click done. So you can see now, even though I brought this in as a PDF, because you brought the sheet coordinates in first, the overlay will work correctly. And the other reason you might want to use the sheet coordinates only is if you're using any of the integrations that we support. So we have integrations currently with all of these. I've actually connected this Revizto project to Microsoft SharePoint, to a particular environment there. So what we can do is go to Docs, open the correct folder, and I can just open this up as it is with the integration that's been set up. But if I want to send this to 2D, send this drawing to the 2D environment in Revizto, I can do that. So click on Send to 2D. I'm going to select those drawings there. Click Done. That's going to match the drawings that are sitting on the SharePoint environment with those coordinates. And now you can see that I have this drawing, which is actually the drawing or the sheet that's on SharePoint in this case, but it's inside of the 2D environment, so I can treat it like a normal sheet, i.e. overlay it like this. And that's pretty much it. There is one more thing I wanted to run through, and that's the ability to first of all find sheets that have overlays. So you can use the filters in here. So overlays has overlays, and you'll get all of those sheets that have overlays pop up in the list. Let's just clear that a second. And the other thing that you can do, which is really quite useful, is, let's go to the second floor, is open a section, for example, or maybe an elevation, if the sheet exists in the Revizto project. And you'll see here that there's a little sort of blue circle around the section marker there, and that's telling me that this exists inside of the Revizto project. So I can click on that and it opens that sheet, that section in this case. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that video tutorial.